Greetings, all! Today, we'll be examining the common, normal-type Pokemon Lechonk and its relatively common evolution Oinkologne, the two collectively known as the Hog Pokémon. Though they might be a bit too cute to be seen as a serious threat to many, the members of the Lechonk family can still put up a bit of a fight against those that try and get in their way.
Lechonk have rounded black bodies, with 4 small pink hooves on each of their stubby 4 feet and a smaller curly tail on their back end. Their black eyes have a wisp of yellow flesh beneath them, with a pair of leaf-shaped ears with brown tips, a brown face, and a large pink snout that hides the otherwise small mouth. Their evolved form, Oinkologne, have the same basic form, but male Oinkologne are noted for their extremely smooth, shiny black coat and stand out strongly as a likely match to their pre-evolved form, the end of their tail also having a bulb-like protrusion with extremely vibrant pink cloven hooves, tail end, eyelids, and snout, not to mention a larger left ear compared to their right one. Female Oinkologne, on the other hand, have a lighter brown body with less vibrant pink body parts, as well as a larger right ear compared to the left, a 3-pronged appendage on the tail's end, and a light brown face. Compared to similar mammals, the members of the Lechonk family are well known for their potent sense of smell and make good use of it foraging for food in their native habitats, with their primary means of sustenance being grass and wild berries. Unlike other mammals, however, their digestive system actually processes only part of the food, as key chemical compounds are absorbed directly by the body and released through the skin to give them a notable herbal body odor that can be smelled from quite a distance away, and this actually helps these creatures at a young age, as it aids them in repelling bug-type Pokemon that might otherwise feed on the same berries they like to partake of.
While this might not do them any favors against strong Pokemon, humans have at least managed to find a real use for this, as it makes them perfect for searching out delicacies like rare crabominable claws, or in some cases the backs of Appleton.
Sadly, they generally will refuse to use their sense of smell for anything but foraging, thus limiting their use among humans, and they are known to be serious gourmets that will almost never eat any food of low quality, so they can be both useful for food quality tests and a pain for their picky natures. Although Lechonk look and act the same way regardless of their gender, evolution into Oinkologne is notably different for them depending on what their gender is, not just in terms of appearances, but also in the base stats and even the way they interact with others. It is important to at least note first that both types of Oinkologne are known to be fairly strong, their legs especially being packed with muscle, enough to allow them to leap up to 16 feet or 5 meters into the air, and the moves they learn naturally over time are pretty much the same, but that is about where the major similarities end. As far as their combat attributes are concerned, females tend to learn their moves a bit more quickly than males and in a slightly different order, but at the very least they are both able to get access to earth power and belch attacks late in life that their pre-evolved form cannot. Furthermore, looking at their base stats, it can be noted that females tend to have greater base HP and special defense stats compared to males, who in turn have higher attack and defense stats. Their abilities are also affected by this change, as the aroma that wafts off the bodies of the Lechonk and female Oinkologne is strong enough to grant them access to Aroma Veil as a base ability, plus the desire for constant foraging can give them Gluttony as another base ability, and the physical state a shoo-in for Thick Fat as a hidden ability. But males are a bit different because their strong aromas give them Lingering Aroma in place of Aroma Veil. And looking at their base stats, though both genders are alike in that they tend to show a decent degree of physical power and stamina, not to mention special resistance, than most others. So while their base defense, special attack and speed stats are all below average for fully evolved normal type Pokemon, their base HP attack and special defense stats are above average, giving them at least something to work with in combat. While they might not be very large in size, Lechonk are best not ignored by beginning trainers, as they have quite a bit of bulk to them for as young as they are. Although Lechonk might appear to be fat, the truth of the matter is that their rounded forms are packed with muscle and not just fat, similar to the members of the Makuhita family, and this muscle is built up from them walking around and foraging for food on a near constant basis. When these creatures are startled or otherwise placed in a stressful combat situation, they tend to be rather timid and faint-hearted and will panic and charge forward at potential threats in retaliation. This might not translate into a lot of power early on for them, but they are able to learn a number of special attacks early on that can help supplement their basic physical attacks, and while they might not get a lot in the way of versatility, moves like Dig can be made of good use with them, and thus give these small pigs a decent chance of surviving friendly battles in practice.
Outside of their combat attributes, it's important to note that, while they share the same sort of foraging lifestyle that Lechonk follow, Oinkologne are much more gifted at being able to use their body odor in the wild for various tasks, and males and females use their scent for different purposes.
In the case of female Oinkologne, the scent that comes from their tail and their body is designed mainly to help soothe others in order to keep them protected against attack, given that they are less physically fit compared to males. Their flower-like scent is quite potent and fits them well, as they tend to be much more calm-natured than males and in turn easier to raise and befriend, though they are also stickless for tidiness and tend to be rough with those that can't clean up after themselves. Males, on the other hand, as one might likely suspect, mainly let their scent waft from the tail and use it to help them entrance and attract mates for them to produce offspring with. This also renders them a bit more ornery than normal, though trained specimens can usually be worked with relatively well. However, their scent is also a lot stronger than that produced by females, and gives them access to a unique signature ability, Lingering Aroma, which basically acts like the mummy ability, in that it will replace the ability of anything that makes direct contact with them, and in turn, can give them some unique battle potential if the aim of the game is to shut down an opponent and any annoying ability they might have access to.
Aww, aren't these little piggies just the cutest little friends out there? I know there are a lot of bad stereotypes out there about what pigs are like, and while I can't attest to all of them, these little critters are among the cleanliest I have ever seen, and are the perfect pet for those looking to have a bit of fun with their cute forms. Lechonk and Oinkologne are just totally precious, and have an instant claws up from me, and they can get access to some interesting moves early on, so they can be fun to experiment with. Oinkologne might not really match up all that well against the strongest Pokemon of their type, but they can still get access to some unique attacks that make them stand out from other normal types, and their potential Lingering Aroma ability can be useful in a pinch if you need to shut down an opponent's ability for some reason. They might be fairly basic outside these attributes, but that isn't necessarily always a bad thing for them, and the pleasant aroma they give off can make them great for indoor and outdoor play alike, so long as you really give them a chance.
Though they might be outclassed by many other potent Pokemon in their native lands, the members of the Lechonk family can still more than prove their worth if you really need to scavenge for food out in the wild. You might have to rush to get to it before they do, but as long as they're well trained, they should be willing to share whatever food they find with you.
Just make sure to try and keep up with them, and try not to let them walk into anyone else's property, or their prized gardens may likely get ransacked before you can keep your pig from sticking the snout in where it doesn't belong.
Thank you for watching this video. It brings me great joy to be able to speak to you all in the world each and every time we meet like this, to explore the many different facets of both the world of Pokemon as we know it, and the world as we live it, through every adventure we have with Pokemon by our side. If you'd like to, please subscribe, ring the bell and all that jazz, to keep yourself updated on content uploads and other materials of the like. You can also follow me on Twitter if you'd like to know right away when something new is uploaded, and my written works, from which most of this is based on, can be found on DeviantArt. Links to both can be found in the description down below. Remember that the world of Pokemon is a place full of wonder and mystery, and you never know what to expect. So, stay vigilant, keep watch, and always be prepared for the unexpected. Until next time, trainers and friends of all sorts, have a wonderful time.